To the Confederates, Vicksburg was their Gibraltar of the West. It, together with Port Hudson, were the only 2 points that the South held on the Mississippi. Grant had tried a number of roundabout approaches to Vicksburg, including the building of a bypass canal, as well as various routes through the bayous. Finally, Grant decided on the direct approach. He sent his army south of Vicksburg on the opposite side of the river. Then, he sent his gunboats and a number of transports south, past the guns of Vicksburg, to ferry the troops across the mile-wide Mississippi. On April 16th, 3 transports and 8 gunboats transversed the guns of Vicksburg. Despite the fact that the defenders of Vicksburg fired 525 rounds at them, they succeeded in making it past the guns with the loss of only 1 transport. A few days later, additional boats followed. To confuse the Confederate defenders, commanded by General Pemberton, Grant sent Union cavalrymen under the command of Benjamin Grierson to raid the Confederate interior. His raid was highly successful. He successfully crossed the state of Mississippi, destroying railroads and other materials while avoiding his pursuers. The great success of the raid was in forcing Pemberton to detach troops to follow him. Grant also detached a division of Sherman troops to feint an attack north of the city. This caused Pemberton to send troops guarding the southern approaches to the north. Thus, when Grant crossed with all of his forces, he was not opposed. Once across, instead of attacking Vicksburg, Grant moved eastward toward Jackson, the state capital. There, Confederate General Johnson was quickly putting together a force to oppose Grant. Grant's forces quickly overwhelmed the Confederates in Jackson. In 4 additional battles, Grant's forces totally decimated Confederate forces. After defeating all of the field's armies that he faced, Grant then attacked Vicksburg itself on May 19th. He failed in the first attack. Then he followed up with a second, which also failed. Finally, Grant settled down for a siege of the city. After 6 weeks of deprivation and in the face of a planned Union assault, the Confederates surrendered. Grant paroled all of the Confederate soldiers. A few days later, when the news of Vicksburg's surrender reached Fort Hudson, it surrendered. Thus, with one of the most successful campaigns of the Civil War, Grant had cleared the Mississippi of Confederate forces.